Is anybody out there? You guys okay? I know it's 8 o'clock in the morning, but I really appreciate some participation because that would be great. It makes everything much easier. So can I get somebody to read the learning target?
Hunter will do it.
Boom.
Sure. I can understand 5 different types of imperialism and identify different types of imperialism in history.
Awesome. Bonus points, if I could give out points. But, yeah. So that's our learning target for today. So what is imperialism? Who wants to share what they wrote down for the bell ringer? Boom, do it
It
again.
has something to do with military.
Has something to do with the military. That's true. Has something to do with the military. What do you got? What'd you write down? You didn't write down anything? Did you write down, I'm excited to learn about it?
Yeah.
All right. You sure? So if I come over there and check, you wrote it down, right? As she scribbles it down. All right. So imperialism is what we're going to be talking about today. Imperialism is when a country tries to extend its power through military force. So military force or diplomacy specifically. So you guys don't want to write down all of this. So it's usually over a foreign nation that has less power. So it's a powerful nation taking advantage of a smaller, poorer nation in order to increase its benefits. And there's many, many different ways that a country can imperialize, and for many, many different reasons. So I'm passing out now is just something to help you guys take notes, so you guys don't have to write down everything that's on every slide, and you can listen a little better. So who can think of some examples in history of a country that was very powerful, taking advantage of another country or region that was smaller and less powerful?
Roman Empire.
Roman Empire. Explain.
Well, I mean, they literally took control of everything around the Mediterranean Sea. So.
Right. Took control of everything around the Mediterranean Sea. What about America? What about 17th century, 14th century, 1492? England.
Like people coming to England to like colonize what's now America.
Right.
And kicking the Indians.
Yeah, the Indians, they had no power, they had no control over what was happening. That was one of the first steps of imperialism for England. So there's many different reasons why powerful countries try to take advantage of smaller countries and imperialize. So what are some things that you guys can think of as reasons why a country might try to extend its power in this way?
For the army, like if they have military down there, they can add it to theirs.
Yes, so they can increase their military influence. Awesome.
Well,
Wealth, economic reasons. Maybe there's resources there in that smaller country that they need.
power.
Power? Yeah. So there are 5 main reasons that we're going to go over today. So it's exploratory imperialism, political imperialism, ideological imperialism, religious imperialism, and economic imperialism. So we touched on a couple of those. We're going to dive into all of these and look at some more specific examples of each of them as well. Alright, so let's talk about this first one. Exploratory imperialism. The goals of exploratory imperialism are essentially to increase your knowledge. So you're going out and you're trying to find out things that you didn't already know. You're trying to find out who lives here, what is there. Is there anything out there? Exploratory imperialism, an example of that was also Christopher Columbus in 1492 trying to find India, but instead he found what? Actual question. America. America. He found America instead. So that's an example of exploratory imperialism. Is there anything out there? And they found out there was. So who wants to read the quote that we have? It's also on your paper, so you don't have to look all the way up at the slides. Can I get somebody to read the quote? Okay, but last time. Go.
want to read it.
Well, I called on you. And I'm the teacher for the day, so.
All great nations in fullness of strength have desired to set their mark upon barbarian lands, and those who fail to participate in this great rivalry will play a pitiable role in time to come.
Okay. That's a tough quote. Who can tell me what it means? All great nations in the fullness of their strength have desired to set their mark upon barbarian lands. What are barbarian lands? What's a land?
Something that you live on.
Something that you live on. What's a barbarian?
Isn't it like, I feel like I know, but I don't, so I'm just gonna say it. So like Indians, they owned that, like, the American land, and when the Pilgrims moved on it, they thought they were trespassing. So I feel like it's like owning land, but I'm not sure if that's right.
So, it is, you're right. That's right. Barbarian lands, what they mean by barbarian is people who don't live the same way as the imperialists did. So anybody who doesn't live that sophisticated kind of lifestyle, more native people. So setting your mark upon those lands, those who fail to participate will play a pitiable role in the time to come. What does that mean? Those who fail. What is failure? I'm not moving on until somebody tells me what failure is. You guys gotta participate. Come on, what is failure?
Like you don't succeed.
Like you don't succeed, you don't do these things. So if you are not engaging in exploratory imperialism, then you will play a pitiable role in the time to come. Does that sound good or bad?
Bad.
Bad. Bad things happen to those who do not explore. That's what the quote is saying. Bad things happen to those who don't explore. You have to explore and expand your power if you're going to stay powerful. So, political imperialism. It has different motives and different goals. So, this one is more so to claim land that they already know about. So you're not trying to find out if there's anything out there. You already know it is and you want it. And there's many different reasons that you might want it. You just want to expand your power. You want to take over a country that has more resources than you do so that you can make sure that you have those resources for yourself. Or you just want to control another country's government so that you can operate it the way that it will be beneficial to yourself. So everything about political imperialism is about comparing it to yourself and making sure that you're in a better place than they are, or that you're in a better place than other people are. So let's talk about this picture. Somebody tell me some of the things they see in the picture.
The guy taking over the world looks like.
A guy taking over the world, yeah. What about the words? What do the words say? England. So he's representing England. Egypt. So you have Egypt down here. So you have this guy taking over different pieces of land. Do any of the other pieces of land say England? No. That's imperialism, because he's taking over lands that are much weaker when you look at the countries. None of those can really stand up to England, especially 17th, 18th century England and 17th, 18th century Egypt. Not really a fair fight. Ideological imperialism. The goals of ideological imperialism are to change the way another country thinks. A lot of times the motive that they would put out there is that they were going to improve the lives of those that they were imperializing. Sometimes that did happen, sometimes governments got better. Mostly though, it did not work out. So the thing you want to remember about ideological imperialism is, and imperialism in general, most of the time you're imperializing and making life worse for that weaker country. You're not making life better. You're kind of taking what you need from the country and leaving everything else. So let's look at this picture as well. So what do we see in this picture? Who's the guy on the bottom?
That's that guy that likes to point in pictures saying we need you.
Yes, Uncle Sam. So what is Uncle Sam representing? Always when you see Uncle Sam, what is he representing? America. He's representing America in this picture. Now, who's he carrying? It's a lot of different people. If you look in the picture that is on your handout, you'll see that there are some words written on some of the people so you can tell what they're representing. What do you see?
One of them says Cuba.
Cuba. What else? Might be a little bit difficult to see, but this one here says Hawaii. What do you notice about the way the people that he's carrying look in comparison to each other? Do they look different than each other? Or they all pretty much look the same? They all pretty much look the same, right? It was kind of categorizing all of these places into one big group of places that America has imperialized, even though when you think about Cubans and Hawaiians, they're completely different people with completely different backgrounds and completely different religious upbringings. They're just completely different, but when you look at this picture, how are they depicted? This is Hawaii and this is Cuba.
They're just dressed up.
Yeah. They look the exact same in the picture. And do they look civilized? Are they depicted civilized in any way? No, they are not. So what do you notice about the words that are written on the rocks? What's written?
I want to say oppression.
Oppression. This one right here says ignorance. Okay, what do you think those words mean in relation to the picture? This is a more modern picture, it's not an older one. So this is a look back on imperialism. Is it good? No. No, it's very bad, it's ignorant, and it's oppressing these places. Religious imperialism. From the name, you can probably gather what religious imperialism has to do with. It mostly has to do with converting Native people to a specific religion, usually Christianity. Usually it's Christian religion that you're trying to convert them to when you talk about imperialism. Convincing people that their religion is wrong. So it's not just about convincing them that whatever religion you're advocating for is right. It's also about convincing them that whatever religion they were brought up with is wrong. It's equal parts convincing them what we're doing is right and what you're doing is wrong. And you're also trying to change the beliefs of the next generation. So you're trying to make sure that what you're enforcing is going to be carried out after you leave. Can I get somebody to read the quote for me?
The Catholic faith and the Christian religion be exalted and everywhere increased and spread, that the health of souls be cared for, and that barbarous nations be overthrown and brought to the faith itself.
What are we saying there? What does that quote mean? The Catholic faith and the Christian religion be exalted and everywhere increased and spread. What does that part mean?
That they want Christianity to spread.
Yeah, they want Christianity everywhere. They want Christianity all over the place. That the health and souls be cared for, and that the barbarous nations be overthrown and brought to faith itself. That's kind of a contradictory statement, isn't it? So we're going to care for your health and souls, we're going to care for those, and then we're going to overthrow it. Then we're going to overthrow your nation. So we're going to come in and we're going to show you that we care about you by overthrowing everything that you've grown accustomed to. Kind of a contradictory statement. So with religious imperialism, you're really focused on implementing your views so that you can get something out of it. What you're usually trying to get out of it is resources and something economic. So it usually ties into economic imperialism, which is our next type of imperialism. So the goals of economic imperialism are obviously to make money. So you're trying to gather resources, you're trying to get things that you can take back with you so that you can become more wealthy. Alright, can I get somebody to read the quote for me? You had to know that was coming. There's no picture on the slide, so this one's got to be a quote slide. Can I get somebody to read the quote? I'll call on somebody. I'll do it. I don't want to, but I will. Everybody puts their heads down so I can't call on them. Called on you. Come on.
The majority of the raw materials were agriculture products produced on plantations. Plantation crops included tea, India's a crop,
Apparently in this quote,
coffee, cotton, and jute. Another crop was
Opium.
Opium. The British shipped opium to China and exchanged it for tea, which they sold to Britain.
right. So let's just focus on this last sentence of this quote. The British shipped opium to China and exchanged it for tea, which they then sold to Britain. Not super difficult to understand, but let's go ahead and break it down. The British shipped opium to China, exchanged it for tea, which they then sold to Britain. So Britain did try to imperialize China a little bit, just so that they could get that exchange, so that they could get goods back to Britain. Does that make sense? Also that they could increase the value, or the value of their own lives through economic imperialism. That sort of makes sense? Everybody good? Okay, who can tell me what the 5 types of imperialism are without looking at your sheet? Religious? Economic? Ideology? Yeah. Help him out. Help him out. He's got 2 left. Exploratory. Political. That's our last one. All right. Those are the 5 types of imperialism. The 5 motives for imperialism. So what we're going to do now is we're going to start our activity. So you are all going to be split into 4 different countries. And the country that you have, it says it on the top of your worksheet conveniently, so you don't even have to wonder which one you're getting. So what you're going to do with these, you are going to go around the room and use your cell phone. Super cool, using your cell phone in class, right? Yeah, chuckle, it's funny, I made a joke. And you're going to use, if you have an iPhone, you can use the camera on your iPhone. If you have Snapchat, you can use that. If you don't have either of those, and you'll need to partner up with somebody who does have one of those. And you're going to go around, and you're going to use your smartphones to scan the QR codes that are around the room. So you will go to 4 different continents. The continents are North America, South America, Asia, and Africa. And you're going to fill out your worksheet, your little handout here. So what we're trying to figure out is what different types of imperialism through history have been motivated by. So what were some of the motives for some of these events that you're going to be reading about? So you're going to scan the QR code. There's going to be 2 or 3 different examples of imperialism in history. And you're going to choose one of them, and you're going to use it to fill out your handout at each continent. Okay? Anybody have any questions? Some cooking instructions? on the board for you. Anybody have any questions? Okay, we're gonna get North America up here, starting in, United States starting in North America, Germany starting in South America, France starting in Asia, and Germany starting in Africa. All right, go.
I guess the only person that can do it, so get up. Stand down.
Yeah.
Like on the right
Yeah,
thing.
Germany's in South America.
Dawson. Dawson. Yeah, I'm
You gotta make sure only one QR code is showing on the screen when you try it. Because if there's two, it'll get confused. You gotta get really close.
There's two of them.
Yeah, my camera doesn't work.
Now you need to turn your brightness up.
It's like that Walmart thing.
You have to
can't
hold.
move.
You have to hold your thumb on it. There you go.
What does it say? Late?
You can work together as a group to figure out which one you want to do and which motive it is. But you all need to be working on your own handout.
Wait, which one did I scan?
You scan this one for
Wait, so
Do we do all four of them?
You do the one that says your country on it.
Well, we're not France, we're America.
Yeah.
Come to France. We are America. It already has one there. Right?
Oh.
So where we write it?
I think you write it on your chart, right?
Well, yeah, but
Yeah,
it
the
says
ours
no
don't
name.
What's going on?
Where's
Well, the United States is your country. So,
where we write on it.
so North America is the continent that you guys are on right now. So you'll write all of your information on this line.
You could have done something easier.
I could have.
What should you?
Thank you.
Possible goals.
You guys figuring everything out okay?
You write this stuff down and I'll help you.
What was some of the possible values of your country?
So they wanted. wanted power over.
Can I get a picture of you guys working on this, but not your faces?
Yeah, sure, don't get my face.
Wait, I had a really
Keep your like hand over.
second
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Yeah, perfect, just like that, yeah. Sorry.
I don't know any goals.
You're gonna be an awesome teacher. If you wanna be a teacher, that's sure you're for it, I don't know.
Why are you here?
Yeah.
I'm the professor, I used to be a teacher.
Oh, well, you're probably an
I
awesome
don't see
teacher.
any goals.
Now I'm the teacher of future teachers.
That's what she
But do you like this?
Say,
Yeah, I don't know if I'm right.
Yeah, it is better.
Well, you might have to start over, right? Pushing you, the answers aren't right there.
Randall.
Sit and play with my sleeve to try and.
Yeah, so we can copy his.
He doesn't. Where is it?
He said, that's all I'm doing. No, it looks like a, something.
We'll rotate here.
Why is dad's old garage?
Are you done yet?
Garden balls.
Yeah, you wanted to,
I don't really, but I don't.
I don't know about these other dudes. But they wanted financial power over me.
Closely resembles
Oh.
This is called
Got it.
review.
I'll be grading.
So you just wanted me to fail?
Yeah, a little bit, yeah. I'll be-
So how much is that getting? Like how much do we have this on?
So the 5 letters used to be put one word. Yeah, that's fine. And then just 2 sentences. Or 2 bullet points. You can do bullet points. If you're doing bullet points, do 3. If you're doing sentences, do 2.
Do 3 for the first one?
This is really hard to write down.
We need one more for that one. Which one? Cause it just says that we have to read. Oh. For some reason. And I'm gonna wanted for Christianity to speak, spread
We'll rotate.
to the natives of America.
You guys Germany? You guys Germany?
He doesn't have a hand, like, if he, yeah, negotiate. Dude said, he said 1,400 question mark. He said, nah, I can do 16. And he's like, okay, bye.
Just take 2 more minutes to finish that up, and then we're gonna rotate.
I talked to the dude for 5 minutes, and I'm done to 15, now I should have done 40. Cause it's an older one. I told him, we just give out like a $500 card, You drive right up on it. That's a truck up on it.
Yeah, they're gonna rotate in a minute and go to different continents.
Gonna put them in my ear.
Just 1 more minute.
Oh, he's getting all that nasty.
Is everybody done? Alright, we can go ahead and rotate now. So we're gonna rotate clockwise. So America, you guys come up to South America. Germany, you guys can go to Africa. Africa goes to. You guys do America every time.
What? Do they give us the same? But is it gonna give us the same? How does it know? Does it say it inside the little?
Yeah, inside the little things it tells them where you are. Alright, yeah, I did.
Is that Walmart.com?
There's one built in, I just use this one to work on that.
Alright, Randy. Pick out the phone.
Very good. She's kind of farted.
No, you just act retarded, man.
Her son does. It's gonna be so hard. Whenever he laughs, it's so loud and deep, actually.
Talking about how Britain took over a little bit of Canada. I'll see like a moat.
Outstanding,
I
Randy.
think the
I
motive,
understand what they do.
the motive was.
I'm just saying bring British culture to it.
Angie.
This territory.
Oh, it's work. It's like, it's a DSLR, it's like, yeah.
What'd you write?
You guys figured everything out okay?
Did you ask?
What was the other one?
What'd you say? What'd you say? You can't reach on her.
Oh, yeah. Monday, that's the last time. My lowest grade was like a 90.
I got F in this last one already.
That was a long time.
Technology. TJ showed us timeline, which was to type things in that makes it to 19. She put stuff in 1908, 19. And all, there was only one thing in the 20s. Was the TV. We got a very yeah, it's we all got F's.
I never had back.
We got a really big hat.
I saw you playing. I was like, you done it. That's very good.
I'm still not sure.
I made the 100 on
I
that
hate
one.
it. You put that.
Probably not.
I did 4 pages of it.
You did 4 pages?
Like, I had like,
You did 4 pages?
It said 3.5 and 4.
No lifer. You gotta research that. You gotta research it all.
No.
I didn't know one paper. Did you turn the paper in that was like the
No. What are you doing?
guy?
TV shit. They'd be.
Of marriage?
Exactly. You just said you did.
I thought you said that. Oh.
We prefer third ball.
Dude, no, yesterday. Yesterday.
Y'all two videos us in art.
We had a potato masher, a spoon, and a clothespin. He's over putting them all together, and she's giving it to me. Like they're sitting there all together in the potato masher.
Every time she would say something like, why?
Every time.
Why? There's words.
Wait, didn't you ask? Oh yeah, he asked to listen to me. She's like, yeah, go ahead. And he was like, why?
She got up with me and I did this right here. I put my fist in my mouth and I pulled it out.
She saw me.
Because it's the same thing.
No, it's not.
Stab you now.
It's Rainy.
Because it's
Randall Brown.
Dennis Randall.
Nah, you didn't hear what I said.
Hey, like, I'm not
Let's take one more minute, finish up with the one you're on.
Jonathan Taylor.
What do you know?
Hey.
I'll rip you
Really
apart.
not
Still
hard.
there now.
Dude, he gets over the top
I'll
sometimes.
rip you apart.
Mr. Yolo Polo.
Nah, she's all over the place.
Yeah.
He goes, look at
I didn't like
just rip them apart.
I just keep on that right there. And I just,
That's why it's tolerable for the
he
Senate.
said, bro.
Yep.
Like he's so dramatic.
Only give her a.
That sounds like a job. I know. I guess he's gonna end up.
Is it really?
I don't even say anything anymore.
Not ugly.
Sometimes it'd be like
Dude,
Said Nick.
no, the reason we got on him because we didn't want him. He's a fucking.
Really does.
I didn't get 3
Alright, we're gonna go ahead and rotate.
It's so funny.
So,
Because at 14
we do America, South America, Asia, Africa, North America, North America, South America.
I'm going to have, hey, that's like $30 now.
No, that's not. That is happening.
Thursday.
Quit messing with it. It ain't
Slowly.
What's that?
Oh,
Don't worry about it.
I'm trying to be Sam.
No, don't do
No,
that.
he got his added
Yeah, exactly.
That's good.
As long as you're mine.
You
Like Mr. Smith.
You do
Remind me.
say
Yeah,
you.
Yeah, 30 years later, he's the same one.
Have you ever thought about having a
I have.
That looks nice. You look like Tarzan. Yeah, that's gonna be the next Tarzan.
They do a remake.
You'll have to geek. Oh, okay. Well, then you just edit it.
It's not one position, that's just saying.
No, it's not talking about squad.
I think the internet.
Squad did.
No, just-
My
I'll do it. I'll do it.
Yeah, the question is.
Yes, I will. I will. Dude, click it out, like, start it out as a thing and read
Does it
it.
work?
Watch.
Yeah, Scott.
I was gonna get that on my turtle shell.
Yeah, Scott. You're other places. Hey, Scott, you can drop a car.
Mine is 11.
I tried to open up
This one was not.
Yeah, but you don't work.
I go, so like if you're like in trouble, you can call
Yours is
So-
loading in.
Lock the door.
Should I rescan it?
Oh, looks like you can't get it.
Well, that's
Has like America going to Africa
And you just tell us.
Mr. Silver.
and like they're kind
Here's America.
That is so cool. I didn't know this. I didn't know this.
Too bad you're not on real.
I'm cool.
Once you sort it out, take your ass
Alright, I will look somebody else and try this.
We're saying the old.
Well,
No, crazy.
We ain't doing this kind of crazy.
It's kind of.
That's just so fun.
So crazy.
Oh my God.
So we're playing with players.
Take, turn on the Wi-Fi. Let's turn it.
push that link there over here.
I understand.
Why are you in Germany?
because he said he's talking about.
And he's sitting in the back of the room.
He says in the back of the room.
I guess you can't do this, you gotta go sing.
Yeah.